Look, I opened this jar of rotten baby food, and well, a butterfly came out.
In today's world, so probably my age demographic are like, this is funny, and I'm sure the younger age demographics are probably deeply offended and on a mental health plan.
Welcome to the Comedians and Elevators podcast. I've got my guest, Tabitha Rickard. Tabitha, say hi, introduce yourself, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
G'day, I'm Tabitha from the wonderful land of Oz, also known as Australia. I am a performing artist, actress, voice actor. I didn't actually consider myself a comedian, but then I spoke to some people and like, dude, you just play comical characters. That's what you do for a living. And I'm like, true. So, yeah. So presenting a bunch of different things. So, yeah.
So you could say that on your resume as you're presenting as a comedian.
Maybe.
Right.
If I watch back Dancing with Our Stars when I was presenting on that in 2020, I was like, there's some interesting jokes.
All right. Well, you ready to get started, Tabitha?
Yeah.
Listen, to my regular listeners, I know you don't like when at the beginning of these conversations I ask you to subscribe. None of us like it. I don't like saying it. I don't like it being in here. But it's frustrating. You know what else is frustrating? It's also frustrating when I look in the back end of the YouTube channel and I see the 56% of you that watch frequently haven't yet subscribed. And I know this because I see it in the comments section. You say things like, I didn't know I didn't subscribe. And that's actually what fuels the show. Basically, it's like you're making a donation to the show. So that's why I ask all the time, because it enables us to build and build and build. And we're going for the long term here. Hit the subscribe button and we'll continue to build this show for you. That's my promise. Thank you to all you guys that do subscribe. It means the world to me. Okay, so the whole point of the podcast is to compare and contrast the comic versus the comedian. So I define the comic as any person telling funny jokes versus the comedian who's a funny person telling any jokes. So Tabitha, would you agree that you start as a comic and evolve into a comedian?
I don't know if I've ever been a comic. I mean, I've always like considered a comic like your stand-up kind of person. Comedian kind of encompasses a lot of different things and a lot of different things that I've always done. Like improv, I'm an improv artist. I play a lot of character work. I can deliver comedy that somebody else has written.
Okay.
And say things on the fly, but I don't know.
Okay, that might be your from your perspective a really good way to define it. Another way you could say is the comedian is internal and the comic is external. But a lot of people also say it's the comic who writes jokes for a comedian. So I've heard a lot of different ways of putting it, right? But yeah, I guess we would say comedian because you say things funny, right?
I assume so.
Fair enough. Ready for the first question?
That wasn't the first question?
That wasn't. That's the whole topic. We're going to
right.
we're going to look at all of this through the lens of the comic versus the comedian.
Okay,
right?
bring it on.
All right. So the first question is about the role of persona in comedy. So how much of the comedian's voice is a character versus their real self?
Oh, this is good because I'm a voice actor. That's what I do.
Right.
Use character voices. Say that again. So as a comedian,
Yes.
you're talking about, yeah. So like when you're encompassing a character and a persona, it's for it to be authentic and believable, you've got to be like 100% all in and committed. And a big part of what I do is I would be people describe me as I completely I encompass a completely different person. I literally like a chameleon just morph into somebody completely different. And voice is probably the very first part of me that goes. If I can find how that person speaks, the rhythm, the sound, everything. So voice is a big part of that when it comes to the persona and characters that I'm portraying.
Have you portrayed a chameleon?
Not yet.
Okay.
But there's always room. I do some improv shows, so throw in a prompt there next show and we'll see what happens.
All right. So how about punching up versus punching down? So where do comics versus comedians subscribe to this? And let me put it in some historical context. Did a jealous medieval prince become the first comedian by killing the court jester?
No, he just became a murderer.
Okay.
I,
But
I
you,
punching up and punching down. Like I think there's always more that you don't know than what you think you know as well. So, people could at times perceive me as punching down, but I'm like, well, you don't know what my demographic is and who I am. Actually, I might be just like punching sideways. Like,
okay.
um,
Can you give
so
an example or do you dare?
do I dare? Like, so if you don't fit the aesthetic look of who you actually biologically are, and you
Okay.
throw a punch at like your own personal demographic because you're talking about your own personal life and people don't actually know uh they don't know what they know, like who you are or where you've come from, and that and they perceive and get offended, and everybody seems to get offended like that today. It could be perceived as punching down when in fact you're not punching down or up, you're just
You're punching sideways. Hmm.
sideways. Yeah, so it's really, I don't know. So yeah, so I guess context is a really important factor when you're talking about punching up and punching down. And also I think it's kind of like a bit of a subjective kind of standard too, because like my perception of punching up or punching down might be somebody else. Like it's all individual. So yeah,
Is
so
there, can you punch neutral? Does that exist?
is that sideways?
Yeah, I don't know. So I'm just saying, like
That's
it's, you know,
that's
you
punching
got the,
yourself.
I don't know. You're just missing. You're just shadow boxing.
Is
That
it
could be new.
punching? I hate the term punching too because it's like aggressive and it's
It
like, or
is.
am I just making light of like what is? Like why are we getting butt hurt over here?
Absolutely. I would say that maybe punching sideways is just criticism,
Maybe. Or
right?
making light of just making lemonade out of lemons.
Right,
trying
right.
to trying to make light and have a fun and be lighthearted even about your own stuff going on. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so then how about cultural translation of comedy? So how do jokes that work in one country bomb in another?
Oh, this is good because I'm Aussie and you're American, I'm guessing.
Yeah, why not?
Um,
I'm in
are
LA.
you?
Some people call that Louisiana.
I was waiting for you to say no, I'm Canadian, and
Everybody,
I'm like,
you
oh
be
boy,
no. Isn't Canadian American as well? Like
I don't know. I'm
how
told
does
not
that
to.
work?
I've been told not to. No, it's the other way
So
around. Don't tell a
assumptive.
Canadian they're American or something.
Right. Yeah.
I
Exactly.
had
Yeah.
this the other
51st
day.
state.
Someone made a joke about a thong, and I didn't get it
Mm.
because a thong he's like, why is it called a thong? Because of the sound it makes when you take it off or something, like thong.
Ah,
And I'm
does it
like
make a
sitting
sound?
there, I don't know, but I was just like, and I'm like trying to understand, and I'm like, so a thong is, I think what you call flip flops over there. So
In
I'm trying.
Canada, not in the US.
No, okay, so so a thong like is a shoe that you wear on your foot, and I'm like sitting there going, it, it doesn't make sense. It's not like it's even like did the thing, and I'm like, you don't take a shoe off like that. Like it just, so there's an example where just even the slang and the terminology of words
That's well,
and what things
we
mean.
call them flip-flops, right? Those are what we're referring to.
Yeah, that's what I think he was like. But he was talking about underwear.
Of course, and
I
there is
thought
a sound. So the to me the correlation is that they both make the flip-flop sound when you wear them.
right. His joke was about what I
Oh, you
would
didn't
call
get
a
it.
G-string.
Exactly. Well, the flip-flop sound when you wear one. What is flip-flopping? Okay.
I don't
I don't want to explain that one.
know.
Okay. All right. So how does the silence when your joke doesn't land hurt? Physically, emotionally, morally, or spiritually?
All of the above. It is
Okay.
like the most excruciating pain in the entire world. I'd say all of the above. All of the above. And then how a comedian can quickly bounce back from that shows skill is where the skill is.
Yeah, me is it? Yeah, is it a skill or an experience where your nerves have just been deadened and you no longer react to that silence?
It's it's not a letting other people's reactions sort of
So
spoof
lack of
you.
empathy. Gotcha.
um, and it not being tragically butthurt by rejection.
Yeah, sometimes it's not overt rejection, right? Because you're unsure if it's even. You're not even sure are they reject. You don't know, right? That's when it really starts to hurt. So,
Yeah,
speaking of
yeah.
rejection, love and justice is the highest function of comedy to expose injustice or to make people feel less alone while living with it.
I'd say it's both as well. It's each person too. Like, if I sense an injustice, I can't help but like flap my lips about it. I
Mhm.
can't. I just will go to town on it. Um. So, but I think I think it's a bit of both.
Okay. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, most people would agree. So then, when a joke harms someone unintentionally, does love demand accountability, or does justice demand defiance?
Mm. So interesting because so in Australia now we've now just in the last like 24, 48 hours they've passed the hate speech laws.
Mm,
So now and it's so new and just generalized
uh-huh.
with not quite a lot of like parameters around what that means. Somebody could just get offended and honestly I think we're living in a time where everyone gets offended. I could just pick my nose and someone would be offended because I picked my nose. Like
Mm.
um I could it's just I could refer to myself as a biological woman and I've just committed hate speech. Like it's just ridiculous. Um, so uh,
Aren't isn't there a component of your suggesting action in the future? Isn't that one of the critical components to that law? Is there
yeah,
like a call, excuse me, a call to action in some way as well?
yeah, you can get imprisoned for it now.
Right.
There's not a lot of like formalities that have been in place to sort of even be able to speak
Yeah,
your
I mean,
truth
I could
and defend
imagine
yourself.
if I'm gonna talk smack right now about every submissive person out there, and then I'm gonna tell you you have to subscribe. Take action now and subscribe. Is that
Well,
hate
that's
speech?
inciting. You're inciting
Exactly. I'm
an
inciting
action.
an
Whereas
action.
just
Exactly.
like yeah, where it's we're just at a point in time where like it's gonna be interesting. Like it already has been, like trying to be funny, say stuff whilst not offending somebody. And
Mhm.
honestly, like you're gonna offend somebody no matter what you do on it at this point in history, I think. Like it's just I think it's just gone a little bit over the cliff and down a rabbit hole that I don't know how we're going to find our way out. But as the Aussie culture too, we've always been a bit like laid back and
Mhm.
quite happy to poke fun at ourselves in the in our culture and like what we do and stuff like that. So it's that's been like the history of like I played Wendy Rihanna West, who is the young mum living the baby bonus dream. And in this movie, where like, so we had the baby bonus, and I'm this lower class teenage mom having babies, and then I start this like ring of other women and getting them pregnant, so then I could take a cut of their baby bonus and stuff. It's just like ridiculously stupid,
That's
but so
funny.
funny because
Is the
there's
bonus like a government
elements.
subsidy?
Yeah, and it's
Okay.
this sort of like playing on some elements of truth whilst also just pushing it to the limit, to the extreme, to the absurd.
Yeah.
And it's just funny, but like now it's like, well, a teenage mom who is pregnant could be offended, and now that's
Absolutely. Yeah. And the call to
constitutes as
action.
like hate speech. It's just
Yeah, exactly.
stupid.
Because there's a call to action. It's like, no, you need to do this way I did it, and every woman should do this in Australia. And now,
But
yeah.
we're not inciting anything. It's just a story. It's an absurd character, and it's funny, and it's a lighthearted. Just yeah. So it it's I forgot what the question even was now.
Well, I'm imagining, yeah. What if you you're playing a character and that character incites hate on a whole group that is also fictitious, that doesn't even exist. Is that hate speech?
There's probably still somebody in this world that thinks they identify as that
As
fictitious
that thing?
thing.
It's a good point. Yeah.
Like,
Well, you need
so,
more.
but
That's good.
every story has a villain. Like there is like that's the whole like there's got to be that conflict. Like every good story, there's that person who's a horrible person, and at some point in time, you may have to play that you may play that horrible person. Sometimes in improv, I don't even know where that's gonna go. I'm the Queen of Hearts is off with their heads, and it's just um, I think being able to portray those characters is really important to tell authentic stories because there are people like that in this world. It's
So just to
reality.
stick on that just for a second, if could your alibi be that it's self-hate speech?
Maybe. Then you just identify as what you're saying.
Yeah,
So then
exactly. So it's self-hate speech, and
it's only self sideways
the
punching.
the law exactly said hate speech, but this is self-hate speech because I'm also a member of that community. So it's all right. Is that right? Maybe.
Possibly.
All right. Very
I think that argument has worked so far.
so far.
In other
It
things.
does.
So.
Of course it works. Yeah, that's how exactly. I can tell that joke because blah, blah, blah. Not my friend, but I am. Okay. Very important question.
Nobody can tell you how you perceive yourself. So, yeah.
Exactly. So, very important question. Advertising and self-promotion. Who advertises themselves more? The comic, the comedian, or the magician? You know that place where you're not conscious and you're not sleeping either? That's your power bill to the electric company. Right here. I want us to be here with free energy, where the Wardenclyffe Tower meets the Eiffel Tower. But that's not where we are. We are here, where you've got the utility and you've got residential solar. Between these two, we know which one saves you money. This is where we can go in the meantime. But this is where I want us to be now, and this can be done now. So let me deputize you to represent DOSE, Department of Solar Efficiency, and let's get on the podcast and get the message out today. See you soon.
Whoever's running their business the best. Like all three of those are businesses. If you're going to treat what you're doing as a professional, then that is something they all need to be doing and doing well if they're going to succeed. More of a hobbyist, if you're just doing it for shits and giggles and just not wanting to make a living out of what you're doing, then you don't need to be doing it. But all three of them should be marketing themselves and doing it well if they're treating it like a business, which it is.
I'm curious how many hobbyists actually advertise their hobbies, right? They post it online and then it becomes a bit, maybe, right?
Well, sometimes it starts as a hobby and then it evolves.
Yeah, a lot of very interesting things. Yeah, I saw this one guy, he started this like miniature like model making thing and it was very, very esoteric, but then it exploded and he actually started a whole business and it was not his intention at all, right? And so was that funny? No, but did I tell the story? I did and I'm sticking with it. All right.
But that's like the era of social media now. Like, so people just share their stuff. There's that level of voyeurism and following along people. And then if it actually takes off, then yeah, lots of people then go, okay, how do I monetize this? And it becomes a business.
Well, just to stick on that just for a sec, because the way he documented his process and because it's miniature, you need a camera you almost need a camera to see what you're doing, right? So you can kind of like a magnifying glass to zoom in. So it was very inherent. I don't know. There's some kind of joke in there. I'm just trying to flesh it out a little bit. So censorship and offense. So does a comic avoid offense while a comedian courts it to prove a point like a magician?
My brain hurts. Say that again.
Censorship and offense. So does a comic avoid offense while a comedian courts it to prove a point like a magician?
To be honest, I don't think any go out to actually commit an offense. And
Well,
if
some
people are
comics.
offended, some do to push buttons.
Open that. They're trying to make that Overton window bigger. Just kind of stretch it out a little bit.
Or even when there is that sense of injustice to push a point or a particular, like I see it in politics and stuff too, that political stance. Well, like, yeah, like so here in Australia, we've got like a political party that's come out with their own animation series, and it's so funny. Um, and they and it's yeah that their marketing is they've just done a feature film as well of this animation
Is any of
series.
it good? You're
It's
laughing. Sounds like
funny.
it's not.
I think
Okay.
it's funny. I
Is it
think it's
supposed to be
funny.
funny?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, making light of the different politicians. It's that
Is it a
old
major party?
school.
It's a major political party?
Wow. The latest polling, they're now
Okay.
they've taken over. We have like a two-party preference.
Uh-huh.
One
Is
of
it a
that
third?
main parties has dropped down, and this
Oh.
independent party is now number two. So, see what happens there. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious. So are they basically advertising their position through this animate these cartoons? Are they cartoons?
They're
All right.
cartoons. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, it makes sense. It's kind of a not, I guess, non-offensive, a kind of a light way to get their message out.
It
So it
it's a
sounds like
I
it's a
see
good.
it as I see it a bit as like that old school, like we used to have those skit shows
Mm,
and things when I was growing up, like that, and like the even like the in the newspapers, like those comic
yeah.
things, which like poke fun at like the politics of the world and things like that, and it's sort of tapping back into that old school humor. Um, in today's world. So probably my age demographic are like, this is funny. And I'm sure the younger age demographics are probably deeply, deeply offended and on a mental health plan, um, having to cope with having to consume that entertainment. But
No, it makes a lot of
yeah.
sense. I can say here, a lot of the politicians are starting to do podcasts because they realize that it's the best way to get their message out, and for the rest of us, we find out who they really are. And some of them are evolving because
Mm,
of it. Oh yeah, so
mm.
I'm just curious. Did you see that over there, or they're sticking with the cartoons
Yeah,
first?
like even no, like even social media and stuff, you're just seeing that having to like evolve with how to market yourself now. Like, so you either sort of go against the tide and stick to tradition, or you actually evolve with
Well,
how
the evolution is
propaganda gets
authenticity,
served out today.
right? Yeah.
Well,
Okay, so then
propaganda,
who
isn't it? So, yeah.
is it? Well, I don't know. It's a new version to be I don't know. Can authenticity be propaganda?
Um,
That's a conundrum, a little bit of a
it is a
paradox. Okay,
conundrum, I guess.
it
Anyway,
is. So
you got me on
who?
one of my hyperfixation subjects, politics. I went there. Dang.
Well, we didn't. I mean, not really. We just kind of touched on the surface. So then, who survives better in cancel culture environment? The comic, the comedian, the magician, or the mudslinger?
The magician, because he can just like smoke bomb it and disappear.
Yeah,
I just, yeah, I don't.
that's if you can pull that trick off. Not
That's
all of
if
them
you
have
can
that.
pull a trick off and then do that magic where they like rip the clothes off and they're like a completely different person.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good way to do it. That's the
yeah,
way to to survive the cancel culture. Like, that wasn't
yeah,
me.
yeah,
Who's this
yeah, yeah.
guy?
Just like identify someone new now, and people won't know any different. But yeah, the cancel culture is hard. It's rough. Yeah,
It
yeah. It's like a
is.
new
It
form
is.
of like financial abuse or something. Like
Ooh,
like it's so like, um, you have the way that you earn an income and you don't want to like jeopardize that so much
yeah.
that like people that it actually forces people to probably not be honest and forthcoming with their opinions and jokes and things like that in fear of losing their income. So I actually see it as a form of financial abuse.
Mm. Ah. Okay. Speaking of financial abuse, are you ready to enter the multiverse, Tabitha?
Ooh, yes.
It's not really financial abuse. Okay. Board
Oh,
game, Zoom cat. Oh, I mean, now that I say it's not, are you still willing
oh,
to
I was
enter?
very excited to be in
Oh,
the
you were. You're like, I
universe.
want financial abuse. Bring it
No,
in.
oh well,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
ready
Just
to
checking.
wage my sword and
Ah.
combat it.
We're going to fight financial abuse in the metaverse. All right, let's do it. So, board game Zoomcast, play versus performance. So, if comedy were a board game Zoomcast, are you competing as the colorist, adding tone, mood, and shading, or the Foley artist, building punchlines with soundscapes and timing?
I'm a voice actor. I'm so fully.
Right. Should be
Yeah.
an easy one.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
then,
Which also adds color and just
mhm.
audibly.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So then does comedy work better when it's painted vividly or when it's orchestrated sonically?
And there is a beautiful marrying of the two. It could be either. I've done podcasts and like audio dramas and things like that where there is no like visuals, and
Hmm.
they're just as hilariously funny as when there is this beautiful marrying of the two. Um, yeah. So I actually think audio can stand alone, but
Hmm.
visual, nah. Well, no, because I've seen some funny comic like drawings and things like that.
Hmm.
So no, they can actually stand alone. But when they do come together, they do make a beautiful baby.
Now, what if they don't? What if they they can, of course they
They
do.
have
But
one of those real
sometimes you
ugly ones that just come out like, and you're like, that child is ugly. But I don't want to say it.
well, I mean, maybe it could be like they're not even they're actually still separate, right? You have like obviously we have memes that can just be visual, and then we have comedy on record. That was a huge thing for a while. It was audio only. And so you can just overlay the two on the same subject matter, right? And so they're actually totally independent, but they can exist simultaneously.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. We don't see that often. But anyway, that was I'm trying to create something
Well, if you have a
original.
meme that's totally unrelated to the audio, then you have like a
Yeah, they
clashing
don't
of they're not,
they
and your
don't.
brain just hurts.
Well, they so about well if they're independently funny is my point, right? So they're independently funny and they do cross over, but they don't technically. That's kind of what I'm doing with this. Anyway, I'm gonna let it go for now.
Yeah. I think the brain just can't process it when they're like, but when they're like, I don't know, like the audio, when there's that, it's good.
That's when it's good. We know that's for
It's good.
sure.
Yeah.
All right. So here on the Comedians and Elevators podcast, we have a tradition where the previous guest asks a question for the next guest. And the previous guest was Art Brown. And his question for you, Tabitha, is a shot of whiskey, a joint, or some hallucinogens. Choose one and why.
A shot of whiskey because it's legal.
I know he was putting himself in a box on that one. So all right. So,
Yep.
last question. Legacy. Who gets remembered? Will the comics Type 5 survive time, or will the comedian's cultural point of view be more timeless?
Can I say that again? So it's the cultural point of view versus
The comics Type 5 or the comedian's cultural point of view?
what's the type five? What's
Type 5. So, for stand up, you want to have those quick jokes. You want to get your funny out fast instead
yeah,
of
yeah.
taking 45 minutes to hit a punchline. You bang, 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 your whole set in five. That's
Yeah,
the Type
yeah,
5.
I'd go the latter then. Yeah, the cultural point of view. Like I even think of like TV shows that I grew up watching, the comedy sitcoms and stuff like that. Like we had a great one, Apocalypse Now, which was an Aussie series of a bunch of like that was about immigrant Greeks that had come to Australia and just side punching at their own culture and what it was like to be Greek and things like that in Australia at that point in time. And so I remember that show, but then I've seen stand up comedy and I probably couldn't remember much at all. So that's why I stand with what I said.
All right. Awesome, Tabitha. So where can everybody find you online?
I am most active on Instagram. I should know this, Tabitha Rickard underscore VO, I think.
Hmm.
Is that what I am? Yeah, Tabitha Rickard underscore VO. On Instagram, I'm tabitharrickard.com, which is my website. Yeah, and you could probably Instagram's probably the best place to follow along with all the random things that I do, particularly especially within the voice acting realm and all the animations and anime shows and stuff that I'm on at the moment. So yeah.
All right, very cool. Well, Tabitha, thank you so much for being my guest, and for everyone, please like and subscribe, and we will see you in the next one.
Awesome. Bye.
If you're interested in too much information like in the network state or Mantipus the chicken shit, check out this video. Or is it this one right here? Well, either way. Lizard.